sound like a broken record to come up here and say, well, another close one. But again, we've somehow found a way to win. I think that's just, you know, the resiliency of this team. And, you know, it's been different ways, and whether it's a block punt, whether it's, you know, a made field goal, whether it was an opportunity to block an extra point. I know some people would say that that's the difference in the ball game. Not completely, but it did have an incredible factor on how you played down the stretch. Whether you're up 6 or you're up 9 is a completely different way that which you play, both offensively and defensively. But with that being said, the thing I got to make sure that, you know, I think is as important as anything is the value of our special teams. And in 5 straight games, we've had an opportunity to put a hand on a ball, change the complexion of a lot of things that are going on, and really make a difference. You know, and that wasn't just the block extra point. That's also the forced bad kick or drop to a knee up by the punter to give us the ball on the 6-yard line. We didn't capitalize like we'd like to have, but I think that we can do a lot better job personally, ourselves-wise, coaching-wise, putting our guys in a better position. But nonetheless, the special teams, again, has created a lot of opportunities for us, both offensively and defensively, that has made a difference. And whether they're points on the board, their energy, their momentum, there's a lot of different things. I think, Derek Forrest, I think, was named Player of the Week in the league, and really an unbelievable job. I think if you look back at a lot of their game plan to start off with was to attack Derek, and Derek played really well, not just in coverage, but in tackling and a lot of things that he had to do. So the weather was a factor. Some people that don't realize it, or maybe weren't there, don't understand. It's not just the cold. Sometimes it's just the combination of a lot of different things that had a factor on the game, both offensively and defensively. So, you know, sometimes you get yourself into a second half and you're in a position where the most important thing right now is finding a way to win the football game, and it makes you play a little bit different. So with that being said, I know we got to be more aggressive. We got to do some different things this week. We're sitting in a position right now that's really good, but we can't be complacent. And I think it's all about who loves to compete. You know, regardless of what the following week is, this is a really big week for us in the program and for this conference. Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, we didn't practice on Sunday. Obviously, the week's a little bit different. He went yesterday, which the week before he didn't go. So hopefully that everything continues to go, and through the week he progressed a lot better, felt much better last week on Saturday. He came in on Sunday and felt better than he did even Thursday the week before. So right now we want to keep the progression of what it is that we're doing, and you know, we got to make sure he's, you know, feels good, but also got to get the work in.
You mentioned how tough last week was for him. What impact do you think that had on him on Saturday, the injury?
Well, I just think that it's not just the quarterback. Sometimes it's that, you know, that connection between wide receivers, that's understanding. If you really look back at it, there's some things, you know, I'm not saying that they did that made it really difficult. They are a very good football team, especially defensively. But even just things that you have to be able to improvise in a game. You know, we motion our lineup in empty, and they don't really know how to align, but you could just see that we couldn't go ahead and snap the ball because we're waiting for a look a little bit. And I think sometimes when you've practiced and, you know, got a relationship with some of those guys that, and maybe they mess up, maybe they don't give you what you're expecting, but you know where you're going with the football, and, you know, you got a little bit of a connection with a wide receiver and things like that. And I think, you know, not having him all week and building some of those things makes it more difficult, you know, and it's not just, you know, I don't know exactly what he's going to do. I just think it's the comfortability of a connection between a quarterback, wide receivers, a quarterback, and, you know, tight ends or whoever in a lot of the, you know, passing situations, because you're not going to get the same thing. It's not like you're going to get guaranteed man and say, okay, hey, you got to beat that guy and I'll put the ball on you. So I think that's where, you know, we got to continue to grow. And as you get down late in the year, you got to balance. You know, how much are you really going to be out there on the field still working specifically at the things you're going to see, or just playing the game? And I think that's where I like to, with us in practice, still just play the game, go offense against defense, whether it's 7-on-7 or some things, just so guys are continuing to build a connection, both offensively and defensively. Defense is the same way with coverages and things like that. That when you get something different, you can just play, and you're not, you know, a little bit more hesitant because, you know, maybe you haven't seen it you haven't worked together as much, and I think that's where the development, I think, with the wideouts and Dez makes it a little bit tougher.
You talked about the trust you have in him to, say if you can go, you go. If not, you have to let us know. Do you have a point where you feel like you would have to step in, even just to save himself, because you know how much we know?
Yeah, I think that we talked about it, last Friday night when we sat down and said the way we were going to go. And I kind of referenced it like a pitcher in the Major League Baseball. Here's a guy that's on the mound. It's the 8th or 9th inning, and he's throwing out 92 pitches or 100 pitches, and you walk out there and you say, "What do you got?" "Yeah, I got this. Give me the ball. I'm fine." And then sometimes that guy's got to make a decision, like, "Hey, you've got us to a point where, we need to help you out here." And I know pitchers are different; they come out of games, quarterbacks don't. But in the reference to making sure, yes, we want a competitor, we want a guy, and that's what I said to him. I said, we got to make sure that we're in a position where we can save you if you're not. And I'm not saying that you weren't. And he didn't look hesitant. He didn't look like he was afraid to run the football. I thought at the beginning of the Miami of Ohio game in week 3, he was. He had got dinged up in the game before, and I thought he was a little bit hesitant. Now he came out of it in the second half and played differently. But that's the only thing that we'd say, hey, yeah, you're darn right. At some point in time, we got to make sure that we're not putting you in harm's way. And we can see something that you maybe don't feel, but you want that competitive spirit in them, that's for sure.
You mentioned this week's big game. How big are these 2 weeks? How big of an opportunity is it to prove that you built that championship culture and to achieve a conference title? How big of an opportunity is that for this week?
It's huge. I mean, this is what we don't talk about. We spring it up one time in fall camp and say we've got one goal, it's to play for championships. The rest of the year we don't talk about it. We talk about climbing a mountain. We talk about continuing to battle. We talk about believing in the guys that are around you. Don't worry about the destination. Worry about the process and the journey, because if you just get focused on a destination, you can rise and fall based on what opportunities you have. I mean, last year we had a heck of a year, and going in the last game, we didn't have an opportunity to play for a championship. It doesn't mean everything is lost. So to be in the position where we are, it means a lot to the program, but we still pride ourselves in on how we finish, and this is going to be a challenge for us. I'm not worried about the following week. I'm talking about this week, for us to make sure that we're at the competitive spirit that's needed to go on the road and play a great football team.
Do you think there's added motivation just to get another game for you guys?
I think so. I think that sometimes that's one of those things for seniors that we have been counting down, and we always preface it by saying this is the last guaranteed opportunity you have to play, whether it's guaranteed games to play, because anything beyond this year for our seniors is not guaranteed to them. So we always kind of make sure that they understand that, it's the motivation behind the things. For some younger guys, they might not realize it. Those things don't show up at the end of the tunnel for quite a while. But it's definitely something that our seniors, know and feel.
Offensively, you guys have been doing more to get the ball in the hands of Trey Tucker. Are you starting to see defenses react to when he comes on the field?
Yeah, I think you know where he's at, and not that anybody has really know exactly what he can do. I mean, we as coaches believe in him. We've seen, some near shots on a kickoff return. We've seen some, things that go over the edge, but I don't know. I mean, yes, they know who he is because he's done specific things, until he, kind of hits a home run and maybe realize how fast he can be. I think that, they'll still give us some opportunities. But yeah, I mean, you can tell guys are well prepared. They know when 21's in the football game. They got an idea of what he's trying to do. And we're going to have to continue to be creative if we want to give him some more opportunities.
It seemed like you were mixing up defensive fronts against Temple, maybe more in the past couple of weeks, 4 down, 3 out. What impact do you think that had?
Did you notice that yourself? Did you get that? Were you at the game? All right, were you up in the box? Okay, well, see, I guess you can see better up there when it's nice. No, yeah, there you're on the field.
I had to walk from the box to the line.
All right, we did, and I think that it's a combination of things that we know we got to be able to play with 4 down linemen. We believe that they're a big part of the strength of our defense, and for a few weeks there we didn't have an opportunity to play with them with 4 guys on the field, and we were asking our Jacks, Mike Pitts, and Ethan Tucky and those guys to play a little bit of a different role and not play maybe as much football. and really believe that we got to find ways to keep those guys on the football field. And last week was one of those weeks, and I think it worked well for us. You know, our ability to not be as predictable. Sometimes it's the front multiplicity that we really like.
What about Memphis stands out to you on tape?
And they're really good. I mean, they're fast, they're electric, they're aggressive defensively, but it's players. You know, I'm not saying anything against the scheme of what they do. It's very, very good. But when you really see it, I mean, you see players that are, make plays. You know, the tailback is, just a redshirt freshman that played behind 2 drafted tailbacks last year. And if those guys weren't seniors, they probably were going to go anyway because they probably knew what kind of guy they had coming up behind them maybe. But wide out wise, they've got size, they've got speed, they're aggressive. I think that it's most importantly, I think the thing you see the most is a talent level. That's something that, we don't see every week.
I know you don't have to look ahead, but there's outcome either way that you play Memphis back week. Does that change your approach to the game?
Ask any. I mean, this doesn't happen a whole lot in college football. It's we're gonna. You guys don't know this yet, but we're not gonna show up on Saturday. We're just gonna skip it. And I guess that means we'd have to come back down there next week. So we're gonna take a bye on this one. I'm not sure exactly what the NCAA would do. I guess I'm not worried about it, but no, I don't. I mean, you could try to call around the country and say, well, what would you do if you had to play a team twice? I don't know. You go out and compete and win, and then maybe you don't have to worry about it. So it could be a unique situation. Hopefully it's not.
How hard would it be to beat the same team twice in a row?
Well, we wouldn't have to do that, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. Because if we beat them, we don't have to play them again. Guys, you guys got all the scenarios. I have no idea. I would just assume that if we beat them, we wouldn't have to play them again. I don't know who Navy plays. I don't know who. That's okay. You don't have to tell me. It was kind of a rhetorical question. So I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I've never had to do it in college. No matter what, whether you got to play a team back to back or you got to play a team twice in the year, you've got some ideas of what it is that they do. And I think maybe you got to make some more adjustments than what you normally do in college because, you don't see a team, twice in a year. I guess the NFL, I can get some input from those guys because they see a lot of teams twice in a year and could possibly see them maybe a third time in a playoff.
With all the scenarios that could play out in the conference, how important is it to keep these guys focused on just what's at hand and winning the week?
Well, I think that for us, all those things doesn't matter. Last week, I think it mattered a little bit more. And our ability to try to stay focused and not worry about, okay, what if this game doesn't go well, then what would happen the following? The good news is we don't have to worry about next week, for any of our guys, for any of our coaches. Next week right now, it's guaranteed to us. So regardless of who we play, it's not going to matter right now. So I think it really helps us in our ability to stay focused.
I think last year before it was the UCF game, Jim Tressel gave me a call just about playing big games on the road and talking to this weekend.
I haven't had any time to talk to anybody. It's a short week, and the beauty of what we've been doing is playing these night games that get you home at midnight, or if you're on the road 3:30 in the morning, and you got to be right back up rolling. So I unfortunately haven't talked to my wife or my kids or answered any text messages or calls this week. So I haven't really talked to anybody yet. Maybe here as the week winds down and people are home for Thanksgiving and they'll start reaching out, but I don't know that I'll have a whole lot of time.